Our breaking news this morning, the Browns have fired their head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski, a two-time NFL Coach of the Year. He went 45-56 in 6 seasons in Cleveland.
You win or you lose, and Kevin did a lot of good things here over his time period with us. It was an extremely difficult decision we made. To win 8 games in 2 years is horrible. It's totally unacceptable, okay? And it's not going to continue, okay?
6 seasons in Cleveland. 13 quarterbacks. Somewhere along the way, do I not get to look at you as a head coach and say, could you find somebody? Could you find anybody? Anybody?
We just found out a couple seconds ago. I think it's just overall the mentality, like things are gonna happen, that's just how the league is. And moving forward, just focus on, what we can improve, individually for the next head coach.
The Cleveland Browns just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the NFL. Kevin Stefanski, 2-time Coach of the Year, the man who was supposed to be the franchise's savior, is out, fired, done. After 6 seasons, 45 wins, 56 losses, and a quarterback carousel that would make your head spin, the Browns have decided enough is enough. But here's where this story gets absolutely wild. We're not just talking about a simple coaching change. Oh no, there are allegations flying around that Stefanski deliberately sabotaged his 5th-round rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, you heard that right, sabotage. The kind of drama that makes you wonder if we're watching an NFL season or a Netflix conspiracy thriller. Let's break down what just happened, why it happened, and whether one of the most respected offensive minds in football really tried to tank a rookie's career before it even got started. The Browns announced this morning that Kevin Stefanski has been relieved of his duties. GM Andrew Berry survives and will lead the coaching search. Owner Jimmy Haslam didn't mince words in his press conference, making it crystal clear that the results over the past 2 seasons were completely unacceptable.
To win 8 games in 2 years is horrible. It's totally unacceptable, okay? And it's not going to continue, okay?
The numbers don't lie. 8 wins in 2 years. 8! For a franchise that's been desperately trying to claw its way back to relevance, that's not just disappointing, it's devastating. The Browns faithful have been through enough heartbreak to last several lifetimes, and watching their team stumble through another lost season while the quarterback position remained a complete disaster was the final straw. Haslam made sure everyone understood the gravity of the situation when he addressed the fans directly.
And I want the fans to know we are as frustrated as you are, and we hear a lot from our fans, which we actually appreciate. We have great fans, they're extremely passionate, and they deserve better than what they've gotten the last 2 years, okay?
But Stefanski wasn't fired just because of the record. There's something deeper here, something that's been bubbling under the surface all season long. Enter the controversy that's absolutely exploding on social media right now. Skip Bayless, never one to hold back, went nuclear with his accusations. According to Skip and others who've been watching this situation closely, Stefanski deliberately sabotaged Shedeur Sanders throughout the season. The most damning claim? That Stefanski would consistently call Wildcat formations in 1st and goal situations, specifically to prevent Shedeur from scoring touchdowns. Skip laid it out plain and simple.
He didn't want Shedeur. I believe he was sabotaging to Shedeur, especially in 1st and goal situations when he kept going Wildcat so that Shedeur wouldn't score a touchdown.
Think about that for a second. Your rookie quarterback is trying to prove himself, trying to show he belongs in this league, and allegedly, his own head coach is scheming to keep him out of the end zone. If true, that's not just bad coaching, that's career sabotage at the highest level. The evidence? Look at the tape. Pro Football Focus ranked Cleveland's pass blocking dead last in the league. Their receiving core? Also dead last. Harold Fannin Jr., the one rookie receiver Shedeur trusted, got hurt against the Steelers and was gone for the finale. The supporting cast around this kid was essentially practice squad nobodies, and yet, somehow, some way, Shedeur managed to lead game-winning drives and outplay established veterans.
But let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture, because the Stefanski era in Cleveland was defined by one thing above all else: quarterback chaos. 13 different quarterbacks in 6 seasons. 13! That's not a roster, that's a revolving door. That's a carousel of broken dreams and failed experiments. The list reads like a who's who of NFL journeymen and busts. Case Keenum, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, Joe Flacco, P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Jameis Winston, Bailey Zappi, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. Some of these guys had flashes. Baker took him to the playoffs. Flacco somehow resurrected his career there. But none of them stuck, and none of them developed into the franchise quarterback Cleveland so desperately needed. Stephen A. Smith wasn't having any of the excuses when he fired back during the debate.
Here y'all sit here with a straight face and say, take away everything else because the man's a two-time coach of the year. Can you look at Kevin Stefanski and say, I trust him with our quarterback?
That's the million-dollar question right there. At what point does the head coach become accountable for that kind of instability? Stefanski is an offensive guru, a quarterback whisperer, supposedly. So why couldn't he find one guy and develop him into something special? Why did every single quarterback who came through Cleveland seem to regress or fail under his watch? The Deshaun Watson situation looms large over all of this. That fully guaranteed $230 million contract looked like highway robbery when they pulled the trigger, but Watson's complete collapse on the field has been nothing short of catastrophic. His regression happened on Stefanski's watch. That's undeniable. Whether you blame the coach, the front office, or Watson himself, the results speak for themselves. Now let's talk about Shedeur Sanders, because this kid is at the absolute center of this controversy. Fifth-round pick out of Colorado, son of Deion Sanders, arriving in Cleveland with massive expectations and even bigger question marks. Could he handle the NFL? Could he overcome the doubters who said he was just a product of his father's hype machine? The answer? This rookie showed up and balled out in some critical moments. Against Cam Ward, the first overall pick, Shedeur threw for 364 yards and completely outplayed him. Against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, he posted a higher QBR, 37-18. And in the season finale against Joe Burrow, with the game on the line and a minute and a half left, Shedeur orchestrated a 64-yard drive in 10 plays with basically nobody around him. Skip Bayless broke down just how impressive that final drive really was.
And then yesterday against Joe Burrow, after it looked like Joe had done what Joe usually does and went giving them the lead, with a minute and a half left, Shedeur Sanders took a team of practice squad nobodies and went on a 64-yard drive in 10 plays, clutch, and more clutch.
That clutch gene, it's real. The kid converted a 3rd and 10 at his own 29, threading passes to undrafted rookies and practice squad call-ups. Jerry Jeudy, his supposed #1 target, caught just 2 of 6 balls thrown his way. Shedeur was working with Malachi Corley, Travion Williams, Blake Whiteheart, guys you probably never heard of unless you're a hardcore Browns fan or related to them. And yet, despite all of that, despite the worst pass blocking in the league and the worst receiving core in the league, despite allegedly being sabotaged by his own coaching staff, Shedeur Sanders found ways to win football games.
But hold on. Before we completely bury Kevin Stefanski, let's pump the brakes a little bit and consider the other side of this story. Because calling him a saboteur might be unfair when you look at the impossible situation he was handed. This is a 2-time Coach of the Year we're talking about. 2 times. Mike Tomlin, who everyone reveres, has never won that award. John Harbaugh, future Hall of Famer, never won it either. Stefanski clearly knows how to coach football at the highest level. The question is whether he was set up to fail in Cleveland. Ryan Clark made a crucial point about the Watson trade that can't be ignored.
Our breaking news this morning, the Browns have fired their head coach Kevin Stefanski.
The Deshaun Watson trade decimated the Browns' draft capital. 3 first-round picks and 2 third-round picks gone in exchange for a quarterback who completely fell apart. That's not Stefanski's fault. That's ownership and the front office gambling and losing spectacularly. Those 5 picks could have been offensive linemen, wide receivers, defensive stars. Instead, they got a washed-up Watson eating up a historic chunk of the salary cap. Haslam even admitted the devastating impact of that decision.
I mean, I don't think we need to cover it again. I mean, I said it, you know, when you trade for a player and you give up 3 number 1s and 2 number 3s, that really depletes your ability to raise the roster. So did it have impact? Yes.
When you lose that kind of draft capital, you can't build around your quarterback properly. You can't surround him with talent. You're forced to plug holes with bargain bin free agents and late-round picks and pray something sticks. That's the reality Stefanski was dealing with, and it's a reality that would break most coaches. So where do the Browns go from here? Andrew Berry survives as GM and will lead the coaching search. The organization has made it clear they want someone who can develop Shedeur Sanders into a franchise quarterback. The question is, can they find that person? Names are already being thrown around. Cliff Kingsbury keeps coming up because of what he did with Kyler Murray early in Arizona and what he accomplished with Jaden Daniels as offensive coordinator. But there are concerns there too. Players have questioned whether Kingsbury can maintain success once defensive coordinators figure out his system. Others are pushing for Clint Kubiak, the young offensive coordinator who's been cooking in Seattle. He comes from the Shanahan coaching tree, grew up around NFL players and understands different personalities. He's an offensive mind who could potentially unlock Shedeur's full potential. Haslam laid out the critical timeline ahead.
Peter, the next 120 days are crucial for the organization, okay? We've got to find the right head coach. We've got to be efficient again in free agency. We have 10 draft picks, including 2 number.
They need to nail the coaching hire. They need to be smart in free agency. They have 4 picks in the top 3 rounds. This is their chance to completely rebuild the roster around a cheap, controllable quarterback on a 5th-round rookie contract. But the biggest question mark hanging over all of this, does Shedeur Sanders deserve to be the guy in Cleveland? Has he done enough to earn that opportunity? 81% of fans in one poll said yes. The analysts on the couch almost unanimously agreed he's earned the right to be the starter going into 2026. Despite the terrible stats, despite the 11 QBR games, despite everything working against him, Shedeur showed enough flashes of brilliance to make you believe he could be something special with the right system and the right supporting cast. Even Shedeur himself showed the maturity and perspective of a veteran when asked about his future.
I think I did what I was able to do, and I definitely grew from a lot of things, and I got experience now, so I'm always the same, like confidence-wise, I'm there. But like that's not in my hands. Like that's not my decisions. I can't speak on what other people feel.
The clutch gene is there. The arm talent is there. The confidence is there. What he needs now is an offensive line that can actually protect him, receivers who can actually catch the ball, and a coaching staff that actually believes in him and wants to develop him into a star. So was Kevin Stefanski really sabotaging Shedeur Sanders? That's the question everyone's asking, and honestly, we may never know the full truth. What we do know is that the relationship between coach and quarterback clearly wasn't working. Whether that was deliberate sabotage, philosophical differences, or just a complete mismatch of personalities and systems, the result was the same: dysfunction, losses, and ultimately a firing. The Kevin Stefanski era in Cleveland is over. After 6 years of quarterback chaos, playoff appearances that went nowhere, and a slow descent into complete mediocrity, the Browns have decided it's time for a fresh start. Stefanski will likely get another head coaching job somewhere. You don't win Coach of the Year twice without proving you can coach at this level. But in Cleveland, his time is done. Now the focus shifts entirely to Shedeur Sanders and what comes next for this franchise. Can they find the right coach? Can they build the right roster? Can they finally end decades of quarterback instability and build something sustainable? The next few months will tell us everything we need to know. But one thing is certain, the Cleveland Browns are at a crossroads, and the decision they make right now will define the next decade of this franchise. Choose wisely, Cleveland. Your fans have suffered long enough.